Four bright young students full of life were found murdered in their off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho, United States. The scene was straight out of a nightmare, unimaginable horror that left even the most seasoned investigators shaking. The victims were 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, 21-year-old, Xana Kernodle, 20 years old, and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, a 20-year-old. By 2 a.m. on November 13, 2022, the four roommates and Ethan Chapin were back at the three-story rental house. They were best friends, lovers, and students with promising futures. But now, they are the center of one of the most disturbing murder cases in modern American history. A tragic murder occurred at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho on November 13, 2022. They were brutally attacked in their off-campus rental home in the early morning hours. Investigators believe the suspect, a mass killer, slipped into the house between 4:00 a.m. and 4:25 a.m., moving from one room to room with a single mission: to kill. By morning, 4 young lives were gone. 4 weeks, the case has no suspect, no arrest, no answers. The entire country watched in fear. Was a serial killer on the loose? But then, a shocking turn. In late December 2022, an unexpected name surfaced. Bryan Kohberger, a 28-year-old Ph.D. criminology student from Washington State University, just 10 miles from the crime scene. A man who spent his life studying the minds of killers was now being accused of being one himself. What is the evidence against him? 1. DNA evidence. 2. A white Hyundai Elantra car that drove out of the scene. 3. A 911 phone call was made almost 7 hours after the murder from one of the survivors. 4. A carbide knife sheath that was purchased on Amazon. 5th, his phone record was found around the scene. And the 6th evidence, blackface covering. Was this an airtight case, or could Bryan walk free? Found lying next to one of the victims is a carbide knife sheath, a single trace of DNA under the snap, and that DNA led straight to Kohberger's. Then there was a car, a white Hyundai Elantra, caught on multiple surveillance cameras near the crime scene, speeding away just minutes after the time of death. Guess what? Kohberger drove the same model, and his phone records show he had been near the victim's home at least 12 times before the murders. Was he stalking them? Despite all of this, his lawyers claim is not enough. They say the DNA was weak. The car could belong to anyone, and full pinks is not precise enough to put him inside the house. So, is Bryan Kohberger a cold-blooded killer? Or is there still room for doubt? If convicted, Bryan Kohberger could be sentenced to death. Prosecutors say the crime was calculated, brutal, and deserved the ultimate punishment. But will his defense team find a way to unravel the evidence? Could one mistake set him free? Kohberger's defense team dropped another bombshell, now claiming that someone else may have planted the knife shield at the crime scene. This comes after the recent release of the 911 call, which only raises more questions. The surviving roommate reported an unconscious person, but didn't mention the blood everywhere. Why? Instead of providing clear details, the call was passed around between multiple people to the point where the dispatcher sounded frustrated, trying to piece everything together. Now, with this defense suggesting evidence tampering regarding the knife sheath, the case continued to spiral into deeper controversy. What do you think? Is this a legitimate argument, or just a desperate legal strategy?
Something is happening. Something's happening in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, listen, we gotta go check. No, we have to. She's so sad. What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20. Here, do you want to
Okay.
talk to them?
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Hey, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, you have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
A selfie allegedly taken by Bryan Kohberger hours after the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students has been shared by the prosecution to compel against a witness description. Bryan Kohberger allegedly took a selfie mere hours after the University of Idaho student murders took place. The image has been introduced in court document about a witness statement given by one of the surviving roommates that described the intruder in her home the night the 4 students were killed. The selfie shows Kohberger dressed in a button-down white shirt, Bluetooth earbuds, standing in front of what appears to be a shower. In the image, he smiles at the camera and gives a thumb up. The state, according to the court document, intend to introduce the image of Kohberger, which was taken from his phone on November 13, 2022, only hours after the homicide at 10:31 a.m. because of the witness, who is only identified as DM, who says she saw a male in the student home wearing a sky mask that only revealed his nose and eyes. All I remember was seeing their eyebrows, she told police. As recounted in the document, I don't remember what the eyes look like, but I remember the eyebrows. I just remember, like bushy eyebrows. That's all I could think about. According to the document, the state also intends to share Kohberger's driver's license, which lists him as 6 feet tall, to compare against the witness description of male, white, skinny, athletic build, a few inches taller than DM, 5'10". Not someone she knew with bushy eyebrows. Whether or not Bryan Kohberger can be described as having bushy eyebrows, the document reads, is a factual determination to be decided by the jury. The newly surfaced selfie comes amid both the defense and prosecution ongoing efforts to have certain evidence deemed either admissible or inadmissible ahead of the trial scheduled August 11, 2025. Earlier this year, Ada County's Judge Stephen Hippler allowed for cell phone and email records, surveillance footage, and Kohberger's Amazon purchase history to be used in a trial, as well as DNA. Evidence concerning the button of a knife sheath that police say was found near two of the bodies. Kohberger, who was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, has entered a not-guilty plea and could face the death penalty if convicted. 2 roommates had been home at the time of the murders. In text messages that were unsealed March 6, 2025, Mogen and Fouquet tried contacting their roommate on November 13 after the former saw a masked man moving through the house. No one is answering. Mogen texted Fouquet at 4:22 a.m. "I'm really confused." She continued to contact their roommate, urging them to respond. "Please answer." She texted Goncalves at 4:32 a.m. and again at 10:23 a.m. "Are you up?" At 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed after Kernodle was found unresponsive. In the transcript, a woman described the current situation to the operator. "One of the roommates passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up," she said on the phone. "They saw a man in their house last night." The motive for the attack has not been detailed at the moment, and a gang order prevents many involved in the case from speaking publicly. However, the unsealed document provided some insight into the argument. Kohberger's attorneys argued in a motion to strike the death penalty that Kohberger, who could face the death penalty if found guilty in all counts, has autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and that executing him would violate the 8th Amendment prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment. His defense argued that Kohberger displays extremely rigid thinking, perseverates on specific topics, processes information on a piecemeal basis, struggles to plan, and demonstrates little insight into his behavior and emotions. Due to his ASD, that is autism spectrum disorder, Mr. Kohberger simply cannot comport himself in a manner that aligns with societal expectation of normalcy. The motion said, this creates an unconscionable risk that he will be executed because of his disability rather than his culpability. Kohberger had a judge enter a non-guilty plea to the first-degree murder charges on his behalf after remaining silent at his May 2023 arraignment. His new trial date, which will take place in Ada County, more than 300 miles from Latta County, where the killings took place, is set to begin August 11, 2025. Latta County Judge John George ruled in favor of the transfer request made by Kohberger's defense in September 2024, based on presumed prejudice if the trial remained in Latta County. Ada County Judge Stephen Hippler, who is now presiding over the case, denied the defense request to suppress key DNA and other evidence, including cell phone and email records, surveillance footage, past Amazon purchases, and DNA evidence in the trial. However, the defense is questioning the validity of this DNA match, arguing that this method used to link Kohberger through genealogical DNA tracing was flawed. The prosecution has not provided full access to the FBI's DNA analysis, raising concerns about transparency. There is no direct evidence placing Kohberger inside the house, only circumstantial DNA on an object that could have been contaminated. Prosecutors, however, maintain that the DNA evidence is solid and admissible, and they argue that Kohberger had no legitimate reason to have his DNA in the victim's home. Kohberger's phone was tracked near the victim's house at least 12 times before the murders, suggesting he may have been stalking them. His white Hyundai Elantra was spotted driving near the crime scene multiple times on the night of the murders. His phone was turned off between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m., the exact window when the murders occurred. While circumstantial, these digital breadcrumbs paint a suspicious timeline of Kohberger's movement before and after the attack. The latest court document dumped in the Idaho college killings case suggests defendant Bryan Kohberger bought a black face covering 11 months before he allegedly murdered 4 students as they slept. Prosecutors say records show Kohberger purchased a black balaclava mask January 10, 2022 at a Dick's Sporting Goods while he was in Pittsburgh. Latter County District Anthony B. Thompson filed a motion stating that he plans to introduce the receipt from that sale as evidence during the criminal trial in the case, which is set to begin in August. This mask is the same type described by the surviving roommate that she witnessed worn by a male in the residence on November 13, 2022. The families of the 4 slain students have been actively pushing for justice, attending court hearings, and speaking out against delays in the trial. Kaylee Goncalves' parents have been particularly vocal, expressing frustration over legal delays and concerns about the death penalty decision. Madison Mogen's family has remained relatively private but support the prosecution's effort. Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin's families have called for a swift and fair trial while mourning their tragic losses. Many families have also criticized the defense team's tactics, accusing them of unnecessarily prolonging the trial. As we wait for the next major court ruling, one thing is clear: justice for the 4 victims is the ultimate goal. Whether Kohberger is found guilty or not, the trial's outcome will have a lasting impact on the families, the town of Moscow, and the true crime community. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notification so you never miss an update. I will be covering this case as new information comes in. Until I come your way again, remain vigilant and look out for one another. This is True Crime CSO. Peace.